Welcome to Science Sonic channel. My name is Anna Wilson. I am podcaster of this channel. President-elect Donald Trump has said that he does not believe the planet is warming as a result of human activity, despite the research-backed consensus reached long ago by researchers across the globe. He tweeted in 2012 that the concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. More recently, Trump has pledged to roll back President Barack Obama's Clean Power Plan, a set of rules that requires states to substantially reduce their emissions over the next few decades. Right now, his transition website says, America's environmental agenda will be guided by true specialists in conservation, not those with radical political agendas. The implication seems to be that researchers who accept climate science will have no place in his Environmental Protection Agency, or perhaps his government. So what will Trump's actual environmental policies look like? Here's what we know. Abel copy Myron Abel Competitive Enterprise Institute. Trump has picked a man named Myron Abel to oversee the EPA transition. Abel is not a scientist and has no degrees or qualifications in climate science. But he serves as Director of Global Warming and Environmental Policy at the Competitive Enterprise Institute, a libertarian advocacy group in Washington, D.C. In practice, that means he spends his time rejecting and trying to discredit scientists who work to understand the global climate. Next page, full article comments. The tiny residents of a town in southern New Zealand have received their own private underpass. But rather than being characters from Middle-earth, the little critters in question are diminutive blue penguins. In order to try and protect the penguins on their daily commute from the sea to their nests, the town of Oamaru have built them a tunnel. The penguins in question are actually the smallest in the world. Known as blue, or simply little, penguins, they are found along much of the coast of New Zealand, as well as the south coast of Australia, and occasionally as far afield as Chile. Averaging just 30 centimeters, 1 foot, in height, the diminutive birds spend most of their day at sea hunting for small fish and crustaceans before returning to their burrows at dusk to feed their chicks. It is this commute that the town in New Zealand hoped to help by providing the tiny birds a safe passage across the road that separates the two. Not only will the underpass help prevent accidental hit-and-runs, the authorities also hope it will ease the stress that the penguins experience as they exit the harbor, only to be faced by hordes of tourists wanting to take photos. While the visitors may have good intentions, they have been known to get in the way and prevent the birds from returning to feed their chicks. Therefore, the folk in Oamaru have decided the best solution is to build them their own personal penguin pass, a tunnel that leads straight from the harbor, under the busy road, to their colony. So as not to disrupt their natural route, the construction of the 25-meter, 82-foot, underpass required that waterways and power lines be moved. The reaction to the intervention, which took around 3 weeks to build, has been almost universally positive, according to the colony's general manager Jason Gaskill. There was potential danger there, so what we wanted to do was create an environment where people, penguins and vehicles could move freely, Gaskill told CNN. I would say that the project itself has caught the imagination of a lot of people, the local community included. Hopefully, the miniature penguins will now be able to go about their fishy business, not only safely, but a little more privately too. It seems to be a bad year when it comes to animals dying en masse, from the ancient horseshoe crabs in Japan to the 300 unfortunate deer who died from a lightning storm. The latest victim of 2016's apocalyptically bad run of luck is the beloved puffin in Alaska, and scientists are pointing the finger at climate change. Since October, hundreds of puffins have died or been severely emaciated on the Pribilof Islands, a group of volcanic islands off the coast of mainland Alaska in the Bering Sea. In 10 years of monitoring, we've only seen 6 puffins wash in total. Now we've seen nearly 250 in 20 days, University of Washington professor Julia Parrish, who leads a West Coast volunteer bird monitoring network, told National Geographic. Daily surveys have found 247 dead birds on 4 separate beaches on the north and east sides of the island, according to community-based monitoring program Bearing Watch. The trend is particularly worrying as the rate of carcasses is around 200 times the normal rate. Puffins photographed on St. Paul's Island in mid-late October. Paul Malavidov Aleut Community of St. Paul Ecosystem Conservation Office. The majority of the birds' bodies were fully intact, suggesting they were not attacked. The researchers have also tested the birds for contaminants and disease, although they believe a much wider issue is afoot. It's believed the cause was overwhelmingly severe starvation. The scientists believe it's likely to be tied to a string of warm weather that has hit the waters of the Bering Sea. The NOAA explained that the Bering Sea came out of a 7-year-long cold spell in 2014, bringing considerably warm temperatures to the ecosystem. This year's late summer was particularly balmy for the typically chilly subarctic sea. September's average temperature on St. Paul Island was 4.6 degrees higher than normal, and August's was 4.1 degrees higher. In turn, that's created a domino effect that has seen less fish for these seabirds to eat. NASA's Dawn spacecraft is slowly moving further away from Ceres, but that doesn't mean it can't snap some incredible pictures of the dwarf planet. In this latest release of images from the Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, there is a close-up shot of Ceres' most famous feature, the Achater crater, which hosts a curious bright spot at its center that is believed to be a halovolcano, a salt-spewing geological feature possibly triggered by the impact that formed the crater. Achater is 92 kilometers, 57 miles, wide and 4 kilometers, 2.5 miles, deep, quite the scar on an object that is only 945 kilometers, 587 miles, across. Dawn was at an altitude of 1,480 kilometers, 920 miles, when I took this side image of the Achater crater, showing its central bright spot, other reflective areas, and the ridge of the crater illuminated by the sun at an angle not documented before. Content 1,479,748,213 pi 21,078 hires.jpg. The new view of Achater crater with the halovolcano in the center. NASA JPL Caltech UCLA MPSDLRIDA. This image captures the wonder of soaring above this fascinating, unique world that Dawn is the first to explore, said Mark Raymond, Dawn's chief engineer and mission director, in a statement. Dawn reached that altitude in early October, after a climb that started in August. The probe was flying closer to the surface of Ceres than the ISS to Earth, which allowed Dawn to take some incredibly detailed images of the dwarf planet. The second released picture, top image, is actually from 2015 as Dawn was approaching Ceres. By combining the camera's red, green, and blue filters, the scientists were able to recreate what the dwarf planet would look like to the human eye. The spacecraft is now moving to its 6th science orbit, at an altitude of 7,200 kilometers, 4,500 miles, where it will refine previously collected measurements. The probe started the climb on November 4, and it will reach the new orbit in early December. Dawn moves thanks to an ion engine that, while it provides very little thrust, can be fired for a while with only a modest amount of fuel. It is incredibly reliable, but it takes a long time to move the craft. Dawn is currently in its extended mission after having successfully visited the asteroid vest between 2011 and 2012, and then traveling to Ceres, where it has been orbiting for almost 2 years. Researchers have been left completely dumbstruck by the staggering discovery of dozens of mummified baby crocodiles hidden alongside a massive adult. The 3-meter-long, 10-foot-long croc, thought to have been embalmed by ancient Egyptians around 2,500 years ago, has spent nearly 2 centuries on display at the Dutch National Museum of Antiquities in Leiden, yet the small army of hatchlings had until now gone undetected. The discovery was made by Swedish firm Interspectral, which carried out 3D CT scans on the crocodile. A previous study in the 1990s had revealed that the enormous adult was in fact accompanied by a second crocodile, but failed to spot the individually wrapped babies, of which there appear to be at least 47. Content: 1,479,749,488 Croc Mummy 1.jpg CT scans revealed at least 47 baby crocodiles alongside the 2 large adults. Copyright Interspectral 2016. Curator Laura Weiss believes the reptiles were probably mummified as an offering to the crocodile god Sabek, BBC News reports. Regarding the newly discovered hatchlings, she claims that you can't see them very well on the old scans, unless you know they're there, and we never expected to find this. The finding provides a fascinating throwback to one of the most iconic civilizations in human history, providing new insights on the beliefs and customs of the ancient Egyptians. Famous for preserving their dead, the residents of this enigmatic empire regularly performed mummification rituals on animals as well as humans, and this latest discovery is certainly not the first of its kind. Last year, for instance, scans revealed 20 hatchlings attached to the back of a mummified crocodile at the British Museum. The hatchlings had not been detected by previous scans. Copyright Interspectral 2016.